Watch this video or Chisa will shred you with her big-ass scissor and chainsaw. We need to talk about Chisa. Again. The moment her drip marketing dropped, the entire Wuthering Waves community practically short-circuited. There's something about her design, her presence, and that eerie calm in her gaze that has everyone saying the same thing. Chisa is about to change everything. But what makes her so different from every other Resonator we've met before? Why are people calling her peak before we even know how she plays? Let's break it all down and figure out why Chisa might secretly become one of the most important characters in the game. Welcome back to the channel. Kamusta sa inyo lahat? My apologies for the AI voice once again. There is illness in the family and I need to be quiet to let them rest, but my real voice will be back soon when things normalize around here. Now, if you need to top up in order to get Lunites, Asterites, and Battle Pass exclusives for Shui Wan or Chisa, use my loot bar link down in the description for up to 25% in savings. Not only are you helping your finances, you'll also help mine as well. Loot Bar is the most trusted name when it comes to Wu-Wah top-ups with amazing Trustpilot reviews. With their mobile DIY top-ups, you will get the discounts without giving out your password. So use my link for an extra 10% off your first purchase now. And thank you, Loot Bar, for sponsoring this video. Let's start with what makes Chisa so intriguing. Unlike previous Resonators, her reveal didn't come with any flashy gameplay previews or ability teasers, and yet the excitement around her feels bigger than most past banners. That's because Chisa isn't just another character, she represents the next phase of the story. Her introduction comes right as version 2.8 approaches, which historically means one thing: the final act before a massive transition. If you've been following Kuro Games' update cycle, you already know that the last patch before a major version jump usually wraps up loose storylines while hinting at the next region. So Chisa isn't just here to fight, she's here to tie everything together. Her popularity didn't happen overnight. Fans have been anticipating Chisa since the Septimont storyline, where she was teased alongside other major characters like Augusta and Oyuno. Now that they've had their moment, everyone knew it was only a matter of time before Chisa took center stage. Her reveal wasn't just a surprise drop, it was a payoff months in the making. That's part of why her drip marketing hit so hard. Players weren't just seeing a new character, they were witnessing the arrival of someone who could shape the direction of both the narrative and the meta. Now let's talk about her weapon, because yes, she's wielding a giant pair of scissors. And while that might sound ridiculous at first, this is Kuro Games we're talking about. They turned a violin into a weapon and made painting tools viable instruments of destruction. The scissors aren't random, they're symbolic. According to her official description, Chisa perceives weaknesses as threads, fragile, flawed connections that she severs with surgical precision. That isn't just poetic writing, it's a reflection of her analytical mindset. The scissors symbolize logic, control, and separation, tools for someone who doesn't just fight recklessly, but observes, calculates, and then strikes with purpose. It's methodical elegance turned into a weapon. This symbolism gives us a big hint about her playstyle. If Chisa fights the way she thinks, we can expect her kit to revolve around precision and timing. Maybe she has mechanics that reward hitting weak points, or analyzing enemies before dealing massive bursts of damage. Some players speculate that she might be the first Resonator to really change how Havoc teams function, possibly by interacting with Havoc Bane, the unique mechanic tied to that element. For those who don't know, Havoc Bane is a build-up effect that triggers explosive damage once it reaches a threshold. Think of it as a delayed detonation that punishes enemies grouped too closely. Now, imagine a character who can accelerate that build-up, amplify the resulting explosion, or manipulate when it happens. If Chisa really does enhance or trigger Havoc Bane, she could completely redefine how players build their teams around that damage type. But that's not all. There's also heavy speculation about how she might interact with certain echo sets, particularly the Trivunen 4-piece. That set enhances Havoc damage and triggers bonus damage when the active Resonator hits enemies, especially those afflicted with Havoc Bane. If Chisa's abilities somehow align with that mechanic, she could end up becoming either an enabler or a main DPS powerhouse. The fact that her weapon looks massive and deliberate supports the theory that she'll use slower, heavier attacks that hit like a truck once properly set up. Others think she could be a flexible hybrid, a character who can shift between support and DPS depending on your build. Maybe she provides buffs or amplifies damage for Havoc-based teams, or perhaps she builds up energy to unleash a massive finishing strike. The possibilities are endless, and that uncertainty is exactly why players are so fascinated by her. Another reason people are so drawn to Chisa is how her personality fits her potential mechanics. She's portrayed as calm, logical, and analytical, someone who studies every battle like a scientist running an experiment. This might translate into gameplay where timing, awareness, and adaptability matter more than raw speed. Maybe she has skills that analyze enemies before striking, making her combat style both cerebral and satisfying. And then there's her connection to the story. Chisa isn't just another Resonator from nowhere. She's deeply tied to the Star Tower Academy, a name that's already come up multiple times in the lore. That connection might be our biggest clue to what version 3.0 will explore next. Every major update in Wuthering Waves shifts focus to a new region, and characters like Chisa often act as bridges between arcs. Her arrival could signal that version 2.8 will close the Septimon storyline while setting up the next era of the game. New regions, new mechanics, and possibly even new elements. The timing of her release couldn't be more perfect. Version 2.8 might just be the calm before the storm, and Chisa stands right at the eye of it. Kuro Games has always been clever about how they build anticipation. They didn't need to show us her gameplay to make her the talk of the community. The drip marketing alone, that cold gaze, that weapon, that sense of purpose, did all the work. It's storytelling through design, and Chisa's design tells us one thing. She's a thinker, not a brawler. She's the kind of character who doesn't rush into battle. She dismantles it, piece by piece. So where does that leave us? Whether Chisa ends up being a buffer, healer, burst DPS, or all of the above, she's already shaping up to be one of the most significant characters in Wuthering Waves. Her lore ties into the game's future, her weapon represents her mindset, and her presence is sparking discussions about how Havoc might evolve as an element. She's not even playable yet, and she's already redefining expectations. In the end, that's what makes Chisa so powerful. She's not just another Resonator, she's a statement, proof that Kuro Games knows exactly how to keep their audience guessing while giving them just enough to imagine the future. So when people say Chisa is peak, they're not wrong. She's the culmination of mystery, design, and anticipation, and the kind of character who might change the way we think about the game entirely. So what do you think? Will you be pulling for Chisa when version 2.8 drops? Or are you waiting to see just how sharp those scissors cut? If this video resonated with you, please leave a like for massive healing, subscribe to get insane damage, and hit the bell for extra buff blessing. Thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po, and I will see you in the next video drop. Goodbye!